Valores principales. La honestidad es lo más importante. El valor de la amistad es más que necesario para la sociología humana. Después hay muchos valores de segunda clase. O sea, los valores no se ignoran, los valores buenos hay que mantenerlos siempre en la medida que uno puede, y es un esfuerzo constante para siempre poner A siendo el valor correcto, B siendo el valor incorrecto. No se puede con A, se irá con B, C, D. Pero en lo normal. Lo que ayuda en la utilización de esos valores es en la paz interior de cada uno, y el saber que si yo cuido tu culo, tú cuidarás el mío. Entonces uno deja de ser paranoico y se preocupa mucho menos de los tiburones que están afuera. ¿Por qué? Porque uno crea ese ambiente idílico, paradisíaco alrededor de uno, de valores correspondientes, valores buenos, valores fuertes.
Hello everyone and welcome to Underwater Adventures with Alex Mirabal. Today we have a very special episode because we will be talking about a very special team member in my expeditions, Gaston. So brother, wherever you are, this one's for you. So let's dive into it. We decided to make this episode because, as I have mentioned before, I have been talking in other episodes about my wrecks, where I found this and why I did that. And I have made the point that it's not me, but it's a team. And we wanted to somehow show you how a team is built, who are the team members, what they do, what they did, what is their role within the team and the work. And I wanted to start this series of episodes about the team members with Gaston because you will see, because of many reasons. First of all, because unfortunately he passed away last year, in July last year, which is less than a year ago. And I will tell you other reasons later on. Second, because he was a really special member of the team because of his personal characteristics. And I thought that it was like the perfect pick to start showing you how a team looks like, and no one better than that, than Gaston. So don't worry. I mean, it's my dear friend. He passed away a year ago, but this will not be a sad video. There is nothing sad about Gaston. He would have hated it.
Yeah.
And on top of it, it's a little bit of a coincidence, but it's not a coincidence. This you will see in the title. This is episode 69. That has everything to do with Gaston.
Of course.
And you will know why now. We met first time in 2003 when I was starting the exploration of the waters of the Nampula province in Mozambique. I was looking for an expedition boat. Till that moment in Mozambique, we were working from land in zodiacs, in little auxiliary boats.
Oh, really?
But we didn't have an expedition boat yet. When we started exploring around the island of Mozambique. Mm-hmm. So we had the house that you know, Casa Joaninha. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So from there, we were going out every day in the Zodiac to explore the surroundings of the island, but we didn't have an expedition boat with capacity of living on board.
Okay.
We didn't need it at that time, but when we got the license to explore the entire province of Nampula, obviously we needed a boat that allowed us to be offshore for weeks, so we could actually start the exploration of that. Those areas are quite far away from the island of Mozambique, where we had our headquarters. So I was looking for boats, and from a friend of a friend, it came to me that there was a boat, Zanj. It was stationed in Durban. in South Africa, and they were up for charter. So the friend that talked to me about this boat, he told me the owners are two surfers, so Grant and Gaston.
Yeah.
You will love them because these are great people. You will love them.
So that friend didn't know you. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
Yeah, but boy, he was right. And the boat was not by far, not the perfect boat. The only thing that made that boat so attractive to us were her owners, Grant, Ruffle, and Gaston. Those were the two greatest guys you can work with.
Yeah.
Young, fit, looking for adventure, ready for whatever crazy thing I was about to ask them to do.
Yeah, they were yes
Yeah,
people.
no, but-
They're like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, the more difficult it looked, the better for them.
Yeah.
If I ask them, we need to put the boat in this position, do you think it's possible?
Of course.
It's possible. Let's do it. I mean, sometimes a little bit reckless, but okay, but it was what I needed at the time. We organized with them and they started coming up from Durban to Angoche, which was the first port that we want them to come and join the exploration of 2003. And I remember because it was 2003, communications were not that easy as today. So getting in contact with the boat was a little bit hard. There was a point in which I wanted to really know when were they arriving, because this is a navigation that takes couple of weeks or 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks' time, you have a lot of imprecisions in which you say, okay, either I arrive tomorrow in the morning or the day after tomorrow in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And these were things I need to have clear for customs and immigration and everything, all the paperwork. And I started telling them whenever we had SMS connection.
Signal, yeah.
Yeah, asking them, where are you? Give me your GPS position. So I start tracking them. And at a certain point, he said, we can change into the radio so we can talk in the radio. I had the radio in land, they had the radio in the boat.
Yeah.
And I asked them, okay, tell me the channel. Which channel we should switch to? Okay, channel 69.
Of course.
Of course.
We're two dudes in a boat. What do you think the channel is?
Channel 69. Never have worked with channel 69 because normally channel 16 is for emergencies. Then people use 65 and 29.
There is obviously rules to this that I obviously don't know.
Yeah, there are plenty of other channels that you can pick for your boat.
Totally.
And said, okay, this will be my channel. Every communication which is not an emergency will go through this channel.
Yeah.
Normally, you contact people, if first time, you contact them through the 16, because 16, even the radios, they go automatically to 16.
Yeah.
Or they have a dual thing. You could have your channel selected, like 69. And if someone call you on 16, then 16 will pop up.
Yeah.
Because it's an emergency channel.
Yeah.
So if you contact the boat for the first time, you go into the 16 first and then said, okay, let's move to the channel.
Whatever channel.
Has.
Yeah.
So we got in through channel 69, brought them to Angoche, which we started our operation there. And we worked since 2003 until 2010 together. They were really great guys. Gaston, which is this episode is about Gaston. I could talk about Grant for hours as well.
In another episode.
That would be another episode.
Yeah.
Gaston has this combination. He was Argentinian and he was living in South Africa for quite a while. This is how he met Grant. And they were surfers. They were surfing in South Africa and they bought this boat, the two of them together. They bought the boat to go out and have fun and go spearfishing and go surfing to remote places. But they soon realized what most of boat owners realize with the time is that either you are very rich or you need to put your boat to generate money because it costs a lot of money to keep a boat operational. So they started doing charters and stuff, and that's the way we got together through this friend. And they arrived in Mozambique. They, of course, didn't have any clue about underwater archaeology or what an archaeological expedition would look like.
Who really does?
But well, okay, that's true. but that was not a point in which they in which
it
they
didn't stop
got
them.
cold feet or anything.
It didn't stop
was
them.
like no. I mean, what we have to do? Archaeology. Let's do
I
archaeology.
like
But
that. I think a little bit
tell
like
me,
that too.
tell me what to do. We do it.
We do it.
And Gaston was first, he was, well, one of the two owners of the boat, but at the same time, he was a mechanic. He had studies on, I'm not sure if he was a mechanical engineer, but that he was a mechanic, he was a mechanic. He had that boat running. I mean, every little, and trust me, in any boat, it doesn't matter the size, there are plenty of mechanic things that you need to be on top of them if you want them to work. And Gaston was that guy. On top of it, he was sort of an IT. He was very good with computers, but very good. And using this software in a way that is not like mainstream. So you can use it for this and for that. He was creating that. Both things very helpful for us.
Totally.
Then he was, I would say, he was the joy of the team. Because Gaston was always in a good mood. He was always making jokes. He would take, these expeditions where there is always one guy who bring a guitar. Well, that's Gaston.
Yeah.
That's Gaston. I have had plenty of expeditions. Nobody takes a guitar in my expeditions because this is not the kind of people I hire. But I didn't hire Gaston. I chartered his boat and he came with his guitar. So
he came with his boat and his guitar.
And his guitar.
And Grant.
Alex liked it or not. That was not the point. And that made it a little bit surprising for me because my expeditions have always been like really to the point. We have a plan. This is what we need to achieve. And everything gets serious, And then we have fun in the day off. Well, Gaston wouldn't allow me to do that. And he was like the living example of this saying that resting and fun, they are not less important than the work. They're more important. So that was Gaston all the time. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that he didn't do his job. He did his job, excel in his job, and many things that he was not supposed to do, work related, he did.
Yeah.
And the fun and the guitar and the music and the fun, he was a kind of a philosopher as well. I mean, I had these conversations. Yeah, because when you present the person and you describe a person who is always joking and making fun, people tend to think that these are shallow people, that they are not serious.
Yeah, I think life, and you're right, people tend to underestimate, but life has taught me, and I think many people have this thought too, the happiest people tend to be the deepest or the saddest deep down, or that have had toughest lives or toughest circumstances. So it makes them choose to be joyful all the time. I don't know if that's Gaston's case, but many times the person that's keeping up the morale normally has a much sadder background or has a much deeper way of thinking about life and philosophy and what means to be alive than people think, I think.
I also don't really know the background of Gaston, but the fact that he was always either, working, first of all, working endless hours, but also joking and having fun and moving everyone, that didn't mean that he was shallow person.
Totally, that's what I mean.
I had very serious and important conversations with him, and he was a very intelligent person. Second, very empathetic. For him, anybody's problem was his problem as well. So that made him, and sorry that I'm talking a lot about the personalities of the people on board, but trust me, this is something that it will revert in the spirit of your team, in the quality of the work you do. You are also for months in a row away from home.
You're living together.
Yeah, and you really appreciate that is someone like Gaston who could one day make the funniest joke in the boat and have the best spirit up, or another day making my life a hell because he wanted salad in the middle of the sea, 20 days away from land, and we had no salad. So that time I told him, yeah, man, go look for some algae because we have no salad anymore.
What do you want me to do?
It went rotten, take some plankton or something. But Gaston was that guy. Once one thing that is certainly not very important in the archaeological work, but certainly was important for Gaston, he was a stripper at certain point in his life, and he didn't forget about it.
The
He
skill
was
that you
not
learn,
something.
never forget.
No. You will see in the photos I'm putting in the video that we are showing you, he was a very handsome guy,
Yeah.
tall, strong,
Yeah.
and with the personality that I think that stripper could have been one of his preferred jobs. because it was that kind of spirit that he transported to everyone. So guys, don't take life so seriously. We know we are here to do a task, to do a job, to research about shipwrecks 400 years old. Okay, that's all cool, but life is a little bit more than that. Because one can get absorbed very easily by the difficulties of the work you're doing. How difficult it is, you want to control everything, and there are things which are less easy to control. And Gaston was there making sure you will not have a moment of boredom in our expeditions. I would tell you this story because this is a story I always tell people because it was so typical Gaston. We arrived in Angoche, not the first day that they arrived, but a couple of years later. We were working already together for a while, and we arrived in Angoche with the intention of putting some fuel in the boat and to load fresh water as well. So when we arrived in the harbor, that is a place we couldn't go alongside, so we have to put the boat on anchor about 300 400 meters from the shore. And in front of our boat in the shore, there was a little abandoned house with a tap, with a water tap, that it has fresh water. So our plan was, I told Gaston, okay, take all the canisters in the boat. There were about 10 or 15 canisters of 20 liters each. Go there with the Zodiac and fill them up. And we bring them back to the boat and we refill the freshwater tanks. And at the same time, I needed to go. So the Zodiac dropped Gaston in the shore, came back for me because I needed to go to the harbor master with the papers of the boat, to give the entry, the official entry of the boat. We will be here 2 days. We are replenishing water and fuel, the normal procedures. Gaston went there to fill up the canisters. Boat came back for me, picked me up. I went there to the place that Gaston was. And when I arrived, Gaston was having an argument with the policeman because the policeman told him, this is Angoche. It's a city, but it's a small city.
Yeah.
It's very conservative one. And Gaston was in his Speedo. It's his swimsuit, and that was all. And a funny hat. He had a funny hat and his Speedo. And the policeman was telling him, man, you cannot go around
Looking
here like this. Yeah, no, you cannot go. You have to go dress yourself. And if there is something you couldn't tell Gaston is what to do. And the policeman was telling him, here is not like very welcome that you are going around,
half naked.
Almost naked.
Yes.
Almost naked. He just has his Speedo, which by the way was a very small one.
Yes.
And Gaston was explaining him that he was very close to the water, that it's like a beach area, and it's normal that people go in Speedo. So they were arguing when I arrived. Then Gaston made a mistake that I tell you guys, for whoever of you are going, working abroad and working in other countries, please never use the line, because in my country, that you don't do.
No.
Because
That
the
always-
normal answer would be,
After
you are not in your country.
You're not in your country, one. But after that, it's only downhill. There's no,
Yeah,
those
exactly.
are not, those are fighting words. Those are not, we're trying to fix these words. Those are fighting words.
So in the moment I arrive in land and I see the argument, the
Yeah.
conversation, I didn't even know it was an argument at the
See.
time. I went there like, the boss of the team to ask the policeman, hey man, how can I help you?
Yeah.
And he was already wired up.
Yeah.
Because already Gaston had
You
told him
can't
that in
help.
his country, he can go naked wherever he wants. I don't know how you guys Argentinians handle that, but I assume that Gaston could go naked.
Or South Africans. Like, no.
Or South Africans, I don't know. So I arrived in that point of the argument and I was trying to piece everyone down, and I asked Gaston, hey man, go to the ship, wear a t-shirt, come back, because we need the water. And this gentleman is right, we shouldn't go around. But they were not listening to me, neither Gaston nor the policeman. They were already in fighting mode. And at some point, I hear Gaston saying, I think you're very focused in my speedo. All your problem is my speedo. So, okay, I take it off. No more speedo.
No.
So now he was standing in the street.
Naked.
Totally naked, with the speedo in the hand. The policeman drawing his gun. And we ended up both in jail, of course. Me as a bystander and Gaston boss. And, because of, I don't know, something about the decency.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Even in Argentina or South Africa, wherever the hell he says he's from, even there, that would be a problem. That would be jail, yes.
Well, we didn't stay overnight in jail. I had to pay a hefty fine, thanks to Gaston. And the entire time we were in jail, he was trying to convince me that he did the right thing.
Of course.
So this is just probably a silly example. I find it funny. That's what I tell the story all the time. Because Gaston somehow got it like, okay, your problem is with my swimsuit. It's my speedo. It's not anything else. It's not religion. It's not this. It's not that. So I take it off. Well, needless to say that we couldn't come back to Angoche again. We start making our provisions and
somewhere else.
doing our supplies in Ilha de Mozambique, which everyone knew. Gaston, nobody would be shocked
by his indecency. Yes.
No. And I wanted to tell you the story about how a different character in a team, even if you are not 100% agree with him in everything, how this is a blessing for a team. We all love Gaston. We all had arguments with him. We all have that because any person with an opinion would have an argument with another person with an opinion. So that is normal. But I wanted to celebrate Gaston's life in this video, at least the part of his life that it was spent together with us from 2003 to 2010 for 7 solid years. We became very close friends, and him and all my team members, we were really shocked and sad knowing that he passed. He started having his first indications that he could have cancer when we were still in expeditions. He went to the doctor, he underwent the treatment. After some years, we all hoped, and because of the news that he was sending me, that he was in remission, that he was probably out of it. But sadly, a few years later, came back very fast. And since the moment that they realized till the moment that he passed, it was very short. So it got us by surprise. It was a very sad situation, and I wanted to start my team members episodes with Gaston, thanking him for everything he did. And man, then again, this one was for you. Also, if any of you, because this world is too big, but we have also everywhere, if any of you knew Gaston, please let me know your impressions about him. That will be super cool. And let's keep on diving.